actually giving you a little pick-me-up this afternoon with some good lively music. Today we're going to go through a number of areas. We're going to introduce our GMA staff, talk a little bit about the history and our advocacy effort, talk about our board, insurance programs, training, resources, and equity and inclusion. So we'll be going through it quickly, but please feel free to put your questions in the chat box, and we will definitely get to those as soon as we can. The GMA was created back in 1933. Oh, let me introduce our staff first. The staff, GMA staff that's going to help today on our presentation will be Sherry Bailey. Sherry.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sherry Bailey. I am a member services consultant, and I oversee districts 5 and 7, and I live in Washington, Georgia, which is my hometown.
Thank you, Sherry. Stan?
Yeah, Stan Brown. I'm a member services consultant representing districts 1 and 2, which are Northeast and Northwest Georgia. Glad to be with you today.
Emily?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Emily Davenport. I actually live in Valdosta, and I represent districts 10 and 11.
And Terrell?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Terrell Jacobs. I represent 4 and 8, and I live around the Noonan area, Noonan, Georgia.
And our Tiffany.
Good afternoon. I'm our Tiffany Stanley, member services consultant for District 6 and 9, and I live in Dublin.
Thanks, our Tiffany. And Michelle Warner.
Hi, I'm Michelle Warner. I am the Director of Retirement Field Services and the Defined Contribution Program. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. And it's good to be here with you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start off to see how well you know your Georgia cities. So we're going to pop up a poll question, and we want you to answer how many cities are in Georgia. If you'll just click on next to the number you believe is the correct answer. Okay, a couple more seconds. Okay, so the majority got it right. It's 537 Georgia cities. So remember that, because everybody needs to know how many cities there are in Georgia. I hope you've had a chance to visit our website or either our Facebook page and just try to learn everything you can about GMA and the cities that we serve. If you'll notice up at the top of the website, there are 4 icons right here that you can go to straight to our Facebook page, the Twitter. Of course, I don't Twitter, but you can go right to the Twitter account, our LinkedIn account, or our YouTube page. And if you go to the YouTube page, you'll be able to find lots of videos that were recorded over the years that provide a lot of good information and past events and resources for you. So be sure to check out all 4 of those and visit our Facebook page and our website when you can to learn more information about Georgia cities and GMA. Okay, a little bit of the history of GMA. Our mission is to anticipate and influence the forces shaping Georgia's communities and to provide the leadership, tools, and services that assist local governments in becoming more innovative, effective, and responsive. So we were established in 1933 with 56 charter members. Now we have 536 members, and we have 100 employees. We are a voluntary nonprofit organization, and we are nonpartisan. Back in 1933, We were actually created because a group of mayors got together and decided there was going to be a bill that was in the legislature that was going to be, if it passed, it was going to have some adverse effects on local governments. So a group of mayors got together to see how they could fight that bill. So it's through this legislative efforts that GMA was created, because they realized that they needed somebody or a voice at the Capitol, and they needed somebody in an association to look after their best interests. So we are still continuing to do that today through our advocacy efforts. And this is our governmental relations staff, and they are working hard at the Capitol to make sure that the bills that are introduced will not have any adverse effects on local governments. They promote our legislative priorities, and they help to build those relationships, and they guide the GMA's policymaking process. And that process is through the 6 legislative policy committees that are established that you could become involved with, to be on one of these committees and work towards establishing those policies. It's always important to start somewhere, and this is a good place to start with the legislative policy committees. If you want to find out what's going on at the Capitol during the session, you can go to the What We Do tab, go to Advocacy, and then go to the Georgia Advocacy tab right here, and it will take you to the page where you can find your legislator, look at the legislative policies, or either go to the legislative session and you will be able to find a bill that's been introduced during the session, and anything about it, if you click it on, it'll give you the bill. If there are some legislative bills that are being introduced locally about local cities, then all you would need to do is put your name and address and email in here and subscribe, and we will be able to send that information to you automatically. I hope everyone is receiving the Capitol Dome report every week on every Friday. We send that out to update cities about the legislative bills that have been introduced, and just to give you an update on where they're at. Please, if there are any bills that you wish to express an opinion about, please contact one of our legislative staff or one of the member services staff, so that we can get that information to them, because we need to hear from our cities about how that's going to affect you. And we also need you to contact your legislator so that you can voice your opinion, because we just want to be your voice, but they need to hear from you too. And it's important that they do that. So Terrell, why don't you talk about the starting with the board of directors and how that's created?
All right, thank you, Pam. Obviously, there are the overall concept of GMA and the mission. And as it states right here, we have the 537 cities, but we have a 66 member board of directors, and it's pretty extensive comprised. So next slide. So how that all structures is that you have the officers from the president, first vice president, second vice president, third vice president, and then you have active past presidents who also still serve on the board of directors, an executive director, which is Larry Hanson, and then you have directors at large, as you can see right there, and they are appointed in that regard. Next slide. And then beyond just those, we have district officers, and who serves on the board from the district are the president and the first vice president, except for District 3, where you have the presidents that serve. District 3 is Metro Atlanta primarily, and as you can see, we have about 7 districts within that district in that regard. And then the next slide talks about the different section presidents, and we have the city managers section, the clerk, finance officers, the attorney, and then we have policy committee chairs. Pam mentioned in regards to the legislative process and policy committees. stem from environmental, natural resources, revenue and finance, transportation, municipal government, public safety. And then we get into the GMA, GMEB's board, excuse me, that is also chaired, and that person serves on the board of directors. And then the municipal training board chair also serves. So we have a lot of those, and that makes up 66. Thank God that we now building this new building. Now we're going to have the ample opportunity to have them all at one time. That's been a challenge trying to have all those at our facilities at GMA. We have 12 districts, and once again, you have 4 officers in each one of those districts: president, first vice president, second vice president, third vice president, except for District 3, as I stated before. As you know, we are seeking officers for the upcoming budget, fiscal year coming up. Those are to be submitted by March the 4th. I know some of the consultants have been meeting with their officers to try to see if there's any interest in that regard to move that forward as far as those nominations. So, next slide. So here are your member service consultants. Once again, as you heard, I think the only one that may not be on here is Freddie Broom. He has dual role at this time. He's District 3 consultant, and he also is our equity and inclusion director as well. He may be on later on if I think they have a function today at 3 o'clock at the same time. All right, I think we spoke. Oh, did it again. I was ready to go into the polling question, y'all. You know, I'm too anxious. I'm too quick to the gun. So, how do you get involved? We got the website, and I just want to emphasize, please, please, please go to your website. And another thing I want to emphasize, some of y'all on here may not be extremely new, but some of you may be just brand new, and you should have registered and got an email contact information to us. That is primarily how we get information to you. So, so that helps us keep the flow of information, so that way you can find out what opportunities out there to be involved in, such as new elected officials, other types of opportunities that might be beneficial to you. That's on the web page on the Get Involved section. All right, next. All right, now we got the polling question. Wait a minute before you get the polling question. Oh, I got something.
What percentage of the cities have a population of 5,000 or less?
Freddie Broom normally plays the Jeopardy music for us, so I had to, in his absence, I just found it. All right, what do you think? We ain't got but 15 so far. We need at least 27, 28. Take a wild guess. We don't know who's voting. I don't see anybody shaking their heads. All right. The correct answer is 75. All right, 75%. Exactly. I mean, we actually have a lot of small communities in our state, out of 537. So definitely that is the bulk of what we see in regards to that. So, all right, good job. Good job. All right, want to turn it over to Michelle now, I believe. Next, Michelle one.
I don't have control of it yet. Oh, I do. Sorry. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm the Director of Retirement Field Services for GMA, and so I work a lot with the retirement department. which is included in the RMEBS department, which is risk management and employee benefits. As Pam mentioned earlier, GMA was created back in the 30s to be an advocacy group for local governments for cities in Georgia. And over time, they decided that there were some other services that we could provide to our cities as well. So that's where some of these employee benefits and insurance programs came along. So I'm going to go over these programs with you now. Sorry, I was having a little bit of trouble getting, okay, so GMA is a program administrator for the following, for these programs listed here. We've got GMEBS, which is employee benefit. That includes the health insurance as well as the retirement programs. We also have a workers' compensation program. GMA, the Georgia Interlocal Risk Management Agency, is insurance, liability, and property insurance. And then we also offer a defined contribution and deferred compensation program for those members that are interested in those services. So the defined benefit program, or what is referred to as a pension plan, if that term is more familiar to you, this program was created in 1965. Currently, we have 290 members in the retirement program with over $2.5 billion in assets. We have a governing board that consists of elected and appointed officials throughout Georgia. And membership in this program, some of the services that are provided include the custody of the assets for funding your retirement program, investment management, plan administration, which includes data management, processing applications, making the retiree payments. We also provide actuarial services, which we have a company we contract with that provides a annual valuation of your plan, and they calculate the appropriate contribution level for the following year. And also legal services to ensure plan compliance with state and federal law. As of, I was going to mention this when I was talking about investment management, as of September 30th of last year, our investment returns for the 1, 3, and 5-year periods were 10.04%, 7.86%, and 10.19%. Long-term, the fund's annualized return was 9.41%. I think that's a 39-year period. So we do pretty good. Okay. The defined benefit program, or defined contribution program, we offer 457 and 401A plans. If you're new to government, you may not be familiar with these, but they're very similar to 401k plans in the private sector. 401k plans are not available in the government sector because 401k plans generally carry favorable tax implications, which governments don't need. So instead, we've got the 457 and the 401A plans. These allow employees to accumulate retirement savings to supplement their pension and their Social Security benefits. Employers can choose to contribute as well, and with a match from the employees, we can set up a Roth contribution for you if your employees are interested in that, which is the post-tax contributions. And we also are able to provide automatic enrollment if that's something that you're interested in. The health insurance program. So GMA offers health insurance programs as well as pharmacy benefit program. The medical part of it is administered by, or the claims processing is done by Anthem, and the pharmacy management is through Aetna. We have a lot of different plan types and designs that we can work with your city on if you are interested in that program, or you might already be in that program. We also provide a dental insurance program, life insurance that's also through Anthem. Telemedicine is available through the health insurance program, which is becoming more and more popular in these days, but it's been around for a little while now. Vision insurance, you can provide that, as well as short-term disability insurance. I'm sorry, I'm not able to. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Okay, so we also have post-employment benefits trust program, and this is for those employers who offer benefits for their retirees, health, medical, dental, health-related benefits for retirees. So if you do, and you're interested in our program, we can let you know more about that. So risk management, these are the insurance programs that we offer. We have workers' compensation, property and liability, firefighters cancer benefit, as well as risk management. So the workers' compensation insurance program was created in 1982, and it is a self-insurance program. So your premiums are based on your city's own experience. Claims management with a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week nurse triage line, as well as telehealth in the workers' compensation program as well. There is, if you're in this program, we offer free safety training and loss control services. We have a dedicated representative. She goes out and visits our members all the time. Well, not now during COVID, but normally she would be, and she could be very helpful to the cities in managing their workers' compensation claims. There's also safety grants available to members of the workers' comp program of up to $10,000, depending on the size of your city, and those are annual grants that are available to you. The GMA program for property and liability insurance, it is a risk-sharing group, but again, the premiums are based on individual loss experience and underwriting. And in addition to basic insurance coverage, including general liability and automobile and property insurance, we also offer data and network security coverage with limited social engineering coverage for fraud-related issues. We also have an inmate medical program. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, but when police arrest people and they are possibly injured during the process, or even prior to, the city has to take care of their medical issues. So we do offer insurance for that as well. And not mentioned here, we also have animal mortality coverage in case you have a canine program, police dog. We can offer insurance on that as well. And the GMA members are also eligible to receive crisis management training, and you would also have access to free legal consultation for any employment-related issues, and which the service is very helpful. I used it a lot when I was working for a city, and they can help you, with lawyers talk through issues. If you call them first also, but you get sued, eventually your deductible will be waived if you made that call first. And one thing that the GMA team wants you to all understand is that we look to provide coverage, not deny it. So we're not like your typical insurance company for property. They really go above and beyond. And I've had experience with that. When I was working for a city, where they really helped us out in getting something covered. So they really want to help. The Firefighter Cancer Insurance Fund, this is something that is relatively new. This was created by state legislation effective January 1st, 2018. Whereas anybody who employs firefighters or even volunteer firefighters, you are required to provide critical illness and long-term disability insurance coverage for all firefighters. Our program, the GMA program, competitive prices. There's not a lot of insurance providers that get into this, but there are a couple that I know of. But GMA's prices are really good. And the program offers 3 years of disability payments to firefighters who, because of illness or injury, cannot work as a firefighter anymore. The coverage for volunteers is a little bit less, but they do have to be covered as well. Local Government Risk Management Services. This is a joint service of ACCG and GMA. ACCG is the sort of corresponding organization for county governments in Georgia. And this team serves both county and city members of the insurance programs and the workers' comp program. So we offer, also for people in the life and health program, we offer health promotion services. There's a health promotion grant. Again, I think the cap is $10,000 depending on the size of your city. And this money can be used to help you promote wellness, have wellness fairs, educational materials, those kind of things. So this grant can be very useful. And you can apply for both grants in the same year. It's not one or the other, and you can apply for them every year. They also provide prevention and health education training, health communications, and health awareness resources. And on the loss control side, they offer field services to evaluate loss prevention and control programs that you may be in need of. They provide communications throughout the year covering different risk management topics. You can use them for your safety programs. And we also provide regional and on-site training programs. And some of the more popular things are the vehicle simulation training, as well as the de-escalation training for police officers. That can be very important. So again, if you're a member of the GMA program or the life and health or the workers' comp, you will have access to some of these services for free. And here are the contacts for all of these programs. I'm with Retirement, also Marinetti BMD New, and then there's another list here of other contacts for the various programs. And I'm sure you'll be receiving a copy of these slides so that you'll have this if you need to get in touch with us. And then I will hand it off to our Tiffany to talk about other GMA programs available.
Thank you, Michelle. So at GMA, we understand that your city is, city clerk or your administrator has a lot of hats to wear. And so we've designed some programs and services to help your city with operations efficiency, as well as try to come up with some additional revenue opportunities for your city. Give me 1 second. All right, so with our operations efficiency programs, we first program that we have is an IT in the box. So with this particular program, they offer cybersecurity and computer maintenance. So we know a lot of times that some cities can their information can be compromised. And so with this program, you have a dedicated person that can assist you with making sure that you have the proper things, technology for your computer systems to help with keeping your information secure. They offer a 24/7 help desk as well as data backup and disaster recovery. So you want to make sure you have a dedicated place for storing your city's records, maintaining those records, your emails. They also provide video archiving, website design. If you do not currently have a social media presence, Facebook, our city website, they can assist you with designing the website for you. And they also assist with any software and hardware procurement to help you maintain your technology. And the additional service that they have is telecommunications and a right-of-way management service. So with this particular program, we understand that cable and telephone companies come in sometimes and run lines on the city's right-of-way. And so we want to make sure that the city is receiving the franchise fees that are available to them. A lot of times they'll come in and they will lowball the amount of money that they want to pay to the city. So with this particular program, you have dedicated staff that assist you with negotiating those contracts, helping you with your franchise fee management, and just have expertise with dealing with those cable and communication companies. The third operation efficient program that we have is the unemployment compensation service. And this particular program is administered by Equifax Workforce Solutions, and they assist cities with filing any appeals if you get unemployment claims that can help control some costs and reduce those as much as possible. So those were our operation efficiency programs. With revenue opportunity programs, we want to provide our cities with an opportunity to increase your operating revenue through compliance and collection programs that's going to be designed to maximize your city's revenue sources. So one of those sources is an alcohol beverage excise tax program. With this program, if you have any liquor stores or you provide, an alcohol business license to stores and restaurants, they ensure that the city is collecting the alcohol tax that is due to them. This program is designed to two different programs. They do, first part is the excise tax operational audit, where they'll come in, do a one-time thorough review of your overall processes. They'll look at your ordinances, your returns, the businesses that are in your city to look and see if you've got everything in place to maximize the alcohol excess tax that you could be collecting. And then with the second part of the program, they have an excise tax compliant consultant service. And with this particular program, they just make sure they keep your alcoholic beverage collection process accurate and efficient for a long-term basis. With our debt collection service, if your city has problems collecting unpaid utility fees, parking violations, court fees, any type of payment that may be owed to you, we understand that it requires, time and attention. You may cannot necessarily be considered, have time to be a debt collector per se. So they take the work, take that away from you having to do this and do all the work for you and help collect those particular unpaid fees and ensure that you are able to collect that money for your city. With our delinquent insurance license fee service, almost all of our cities participate in this particular program. But what they do at this particular program, GMA actually collects the delinquent insurance business license fees that are owed to you. And at the end of the year, they go through and they'll send you your check with a list of the delinquent insurance companies. And over a 10-year period, they've been able to collect over $10.5 million for cities in the last 10 years alone. So all of these revenue opportunities are can be very important to your city. some additional revenue opportunities that we have. The next one I'll talk about is Gov Deals. With Gov Deals, this is if you have any old equipment, city equipment, office supply or equipment, then you can actually use this online surplus auction service. That is a platform that's designed for cities to be able to sell their surplus equipment to a global audience of buyers. Then with our next program we have is a property damage revenue recovery service. So if you have any accidents within your city and any city equipment or like say fire hydrants, your landscaping, any city property is damaged in these auto accidents, what they do is they advocate on behalf of the city. They'll review all of your accident claims within your city, and they'll file the claim on behalf of the city to the auto company or the driver, and file the claim on behalf of you. So they'll help you recover the cost of the repair for that fire hydrant. If you use city personnel to fix that hydrant or whatever city property was damaged, they'll recoup that cost for the city. It's no cost for you to participate in this program or Gov Deals. The money that they collect from those damages, they just get a percentage of that in this particular program. With our hotel motel recovery program, this is they perform a thorough analysis of your hotel and motel tax returns. You have a hotel and motel within your city, and if there's any unreported taxes that is owed to the city, then they'll offer an analysis and get those hotels and motels compliant with paying the city on time and submitting the amount of revenue that is owed to the city. With our purchasing and financing services for cities that have, first we'll talk about the aggregated purchasing service. So with this particular service, this helps reduce the cost of certain purchased goods and services. It helps streamline the city process for purchases. And so it alleviates the RFP process by allowing the city to utilize contracts that have already been secured and available to local government. With our Home Depot Government Solutions programs, can y'all still hear me? Because I'm seeing that I'm having, okay, all right, my internet's unstable. But we know that cities make purchases from Home Depot. So with those purchases, you can actually get a return on those purchases. You get an annual rebate at the beginning of each year, I believe. So if you sign up for this particular program, any purchases that you make at Home Depot, you use the dedicated city credit card, and you'll get a 3% rebate check every year for all the purchases that you make throughout the year. So that's whether you're making that purchase in person or you can order online. But for those purchases that the city is already making, Home Depot will allow you to get some additional money back for the city. For our cities that have a natural gas system, with our natural gas program, we negotiate the best price for the natural gas for the city. We know it could be time consuming and sometimes complex, but this allows you to save money and helps remove that burden from having to figure out the price components, the rates, and the plans that can best fit your city's needs. So this is serviced by Atlanta Gas Light Company, and any city that has a gas system on this particular line is eligible to participate. There's no direct cost or direct fee to participate in this particular program. They just charge 1 cent per therm for gas usage. That's included in the price that's charged by the marketer. Then also, my last program I'll talk about as far as revenue opportunity is the equipment and real estate financing program. So we know cities have to make big one-time purchases, and you may be purchasing new police cars, fire trucks. You may be building a new city hall or purchasing some additional real estate for the city. And so we know that can be costly sometimes. But with these two programs, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You can finance through GMA, and with for the short-term equipment purchases for your police and fire vehicles or anything like that, computer systems, we have a direct lease financing program. And with this program, the flexible payment terms range from the lowest possible interest rate for the city. Now, as far as building that new city hall or purchasing the real estate for the city, we have a bricks and mortar financing program. That's for your long-term real estate purchases. And GMA negotiates the best prices for you and with flexible financing terms that range from 5 to 30 years. And we facilitate the funding of those SPLOST approved projects. So I've went over the services and programs that the city offers to you. And so now we're going to go into breakout to discuss, do you have any questions about GMA services that we've covered so far, or if there's any other services that you would like GMA to consider providing? All right, well, I hope everyone had some great discussions in their breakout room about the services that GMA offers. Or any that you may be interested in. I will now turn it over to Miss Emily Davenport.
Thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to see if I can take over control. We were just talking IT anyways, which seems to be a little challenging sometimes. But no, thank you guys so much. I think we've heard a lot of great information, so I'm excited to share with you guys about our training and education opportunities, because if you're like me, we're constantly needing training education to stay up to date on what's going on with this busy area of local government. There we go. So let me switch.
Everybody can mute themselves, please.
All right, so I'm just going to highlight a few of the different programs that we actually have with GMA. So as you can see, we've got elected officials training with the Harold F. Holtz Municipal Training Institute. So this is actually designed specifically for our elected officials. We actually have this partnership with the University of Georgia Carl Vinson Institute of Government and GMA. So we are constantly offering those trainings to make sure that you guys have exactly what you need. We also have our Municipal Revenue Administration Certificate, which is a GMA program that consists of multiple training classes for city employees and officials on the different revenue sources and applicable laws and administration and collection process. Our next class we want to highlight is actually one of our newest classes, which is our Human Resources Administration Certificate. You hear us say HRAC, that's what we're talking about. So the HRAC program includes 5 classes that are specifically designed to provide city elected officials and appointed staff with the tools necessary to successfully recruit, train, and retain talent to provide the services to your communities. And of course, we can always customize any kind of training that you may need for your city. So obviously, customer service is one of those. We've got several other ones that include budget and finance management, leadership. So again, if you've got any kind of need, just let us know, and we would be happy to talk to you guys about those trainings that we can provide virtually as well as in person. So right now, we're really trying to focus on virtual due to COVID, but we can also work out in-person training as well. So the next thing I want to highlight was just a couple of additional classes that we have, or programs, excuse me. Our Campus Connections actually has 3 components within it, which is actually a city manager shadowing program. So this is where we'll partner up a city manager with a more seasoned city manager to kind of help walk through the challenges that you guys deal with every day, as well as just kind of making sure that you have those resources. We also have internship programs and, of course, a local government practicum where we actually work with universities throughout the state, and they actually have grad students that come in and do research for you guys and help meet some of those needs. We have a mentoring program for elected officials, very similar to that city manager shadowing program. We also have our Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. This program right here actually helps communities improve their quality of life and economic vitality through the development of locally driven housing and revitalization strategies. So if you're looking for creative solutions and networking with housing professionals, then this is definitely a program you want to check out. And just as Michelle mentioned, we also have our local government risk management service. So this is for our LGRMS members, and they actually offer training through their health promotion services to promote on-site workplace well-being programs. All right, so we've talked about a little bit about the programs that we offer, and we really kind of want to just walk you through. So we can talk about it, but we want you to be able to see where you can actually access this information. So again, if you go to our website, and at the top where it says what we do, you just click on that, it'll open up our main options, and you can see training and education. To the right of that, you'll see where you can actually view all the trainings. So if you click on that, then what it'll do is it'll actually pull up the different kind of components that we have for our training. So as you can see, some of the ones that I just mentioned to you, it shows those on there. So I'm going to kind of walk you through going through like our HRAC training. So if you go to that and you wanted to click on it, it'll actually pull up, if I can get it to advance, it'll pull up the description of that class. So as you can see, it goes into details about it. And then of course, at the end of this one, we actually have a button where you can click on it to register. And then of course, what'll happen when you click on the register, it'll pull it up into that. So you can see the HRAC class that you want to sign up for. If you click on that registration, it'll walk you into that process. So again, if I click on that, it's going to give me the option where I can either log in or I can just enter my email. If you enter your email in, it will send you an email directly to the email that we have on file for you. And then it'll have a lot of that information already pre-entered in, and then you can submit from there. If you get in there and you're unable to log in and you forgot your password, it's really easy. All you have to do is click on there where I've circled user, you forgot your username or password, and it'll send a file for you, and then that way you can update your email. So we really try to make it as easy as All right, so another thing we want to share with you guys on our website is, again, if you go to that homepage and you look under events, you can click on calendar. And this is another way that you can look on for our trainings. So if you click on calendar and go to see all events, it'll actually pull up a list of everything that we have. So you can see what we have already scheduled right now all the way to end of December. So again, I wanted to walk you through one of our classes we actually have coming up tomorrow. It's a free class. It's our Talk It Up Thursday for Public Safety Capital Needs. So if you click on that, to the right, you can see where it pulls up that description of that particular class. And of course, you can register from right there again. If you see some of our emails and you see some different classes that we're offering, but you just can't remember what it is, if you go to that same area where you're looking to see the full calendar, if you just key in a keyword like talk for Talk It Up or GMA 101, what it'll do is when you do that, and it'll actually filter out all those classes that specifically have that word reference in it. So that way you don't have to look through the full list if you would prefer to do it that way also. And of course, again, under that events tab, we also have our annual events. So this is where most people are really familiar because these are activities that we offer each year. So as you all know, we just had our Cities United Summit, which this year was virtual. So that is one of the ones that we offer. We've also have our annual convention that we would hope to be in person this year. Georgia Cities Week is something that we celebrate every year. It's typically in April. Last year it did get pushed out to October, so I think we're going to have to wait and see how that's going to be for us again this year. And then, of course, the Mayor's Christmas Motorcade. While this isn't a program that we actually do anymore, we do have a lot of resources because several of our cities do still participate in this. So again, we've got those resources for you. And last but not least, I wanted to share with you guys about our Georgia Cities Foundation. This is one of our sister organizations. They actually offer a number of great resources to help with economic development with our downtowns. But they actually offer a development series that is a free training class that they offer each month. And so it covers a number of different topics. As you can see at the bottom of this slide, I actually have the website on there. So you can go to it, learn more, and you can actually go back and rewatch any of the videos that they've had. These typically last about an hour, and again, are very resourceful and tie right back into our communities. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry Bailey so she can share with you guys about our resources.
Thank you, Emily. All right, so we're going to start talking a little bit about resources. We're going to continue on with what Emily was doing, which was online and showing all the things that you can get on from the GMA website. So if you have not visited the GMA website, I highly encourage you to go out there and just look around and do some exploring. It's www.gacities.com. And now I'm gonna, let's see, there we go. All right, so when you go out there and you look on the GMA website and you see all the different tabs, and if you go over to resources, it's going to pull up a list of different resources that we have available for you. So we have grants, we have the GMA handbooks and publications, we have sample documents, we have our legal database, we have our data tools, reference articles, and then our newest section is our videos and webinars. So the first one I want to go over with you, the first resource that we have is the grant. So as you can see, we have right now listed over 23 grants, and that probably has gone up actually since I did this slide, because we're constantly adding to it every day. Every time we're aware of a grant opportunity, we always put it out there on our website. And then you'll see over here on the right side of that page, if you want to be alerted of a new grant, you just go there, you put in your name and your email, and you can subscribe to that. So every time we update this website, you'll get an email notifying you of that. And then you can actually go to the website, pull it up, read the information on it, and see how you apply. So our second resource that I want to go over is our sample documents. So as you can see, we have a different publications out there for your use. We have what it's got right now showing you is some of the ones that are highlighted. These are our most popular publications that we find our city officials going out there and pulling. So you've got a budget guide for your Georgia municipality, a publication on double taxation. So that's very useful for cities if you're dealing with service delivery strategy negotiations with the county. You can go out there and pull that. For the new city clerks, we have the city clerk handbook. We also have a handbook for pension committee secretaries. And then we also have another link that will take you to all of our other publications. So we have quite a bit of different information out there. So if you keep going and you go into the other sample documents, you're going to get this library that's going to pull up. And you'll see that we have ordinances, agreements, job descriptions, RFPs, just a whole wide array of things. So a lot of times if something comes down legislatively and it's something new to the cities, our legal staff will put together a sample ordinance, and that's where you would find it. If you are creating a new job and you want to find a job description to go by, this is where you would go out there and look for it. So there's no need to reinvent is available to you. We've pulled them from cities over the years, and like I said, we update it constantly. So just go out there and look and see if you can find what you're looking for. So one of the next resources I want to go over real quickly is the legal database. So in this database, if you go out there and pull it up, you're going to see different ways to search for it. So if you know that a keyword, or if you happen to know which court it was heard in, say it was Richmond County or something like that, you could go out there and you could pull it up. And then you can actually read that case summary. Let's see, I think, there we go. So right here you can see that it's filtering it by case type. So say you wanted to look for alcoholic beverages, or affirmative action or annexation or something like that, you could just pull it up by the court type, and that would pull up all the cases and all the different courts that we have out there listed. And you can also, like I said before, you can pull it up by county and which court it was heard in, if you're familiar with which case you're looking for. So our fourth resource that we have out there is the data tools, and I just love this. I don't think a lot of people are very aware or familiar with it, but if you go out to the data tools, you'll see that it has, let's see. There we go. Okay, so it has over 90 filters, and you can see at the top, there's so many different ways that you can pull it up. You can pull it up by demographic area, you can pull it up by the government type, facilities, whatever you're looking for, you can use this data tool, and you just see it just comes through and pulls all that information together. And it gives you a comparison of your city with cities that are similar to yours based on whatever information that you're pulling it from. And then you can also look at it on the map, or you can look at it in a report form. And all of this information is downloadable. So if you're ever wanting to know about something, say you're wanting to know about cities that are similar in size or have the same type of economic background as your city, this is where you would go and pull that. So here you can see this is our GMA dashboard, and this is the economic data for Atlanta, Fulton County. Of course, it pulls it up because it is alphabetical. And you can see that if you look at that, you can see that there are different things, you know, time to travel for work, percentage in labor force, population in poverty, different things that you can look at. And we've got that on all of the cities in the state. All right, so this one is looking at the jobs data for Fulton County and then the population change over the past 20 years. So this one's highlighting jobs by industry for Fulton County. So as you can see, this one's highlighted, it's 1.8% in Fulton County is in the entertainment and recreation industry. So if that's something you're interested in looking up and seeing in your community, what types of jobs are out there or maybe in surrounding communities, this would be a great place to do that. Sorry, it's not moving. There we go. All right, so the fifth and final resource I want to highlight for you is the reference articles that we have online. And as you can see, we have over 600 articles out there right now. We cover various topics. Sorry. We cover various topics, and we have all kinds of articles that do, you can search by keyword. It'll generate a listing of all the resources that we have pertaining to that topic. Some of them you can download, some of them you can just save. And so if you're ever looking for anything, like this one is a handbook for improved neighborhoods, GMA works for Georgia cities. There's a long list. You can just go through and find those. All right. So now I'm going to turn it over to Stan Brown. He's going to go over some COVID-19 resources as well as some of the trending topics, but I think we're going to start out with a poll.
Okay, and we do have a question here in the poll. Cities provide what percentage of jobs in Georgia? Is it 36, 42, 69, or 81%? Okay, let's go ahead and end the polling, and it looks like that the majority felt like it was 36%. We actually do much better than that in cities. The correct answer is 69%. So a large majority of the jobs in Georgia do occur in cities. All right. So as Sherry said, I'm going to share some additional info if I can advance the slide here. Okay, I'll talk about COVID-19 and trending topics. We're going to continue to kind of look through the GMA website and look at the information that's available there. One area that we get a lot of hits on is the COVID-19 resource page. And if you would, if you pull that up and look at it, if you were to click on that, you'll find just a wealth of information as far as resources, some federal and state resources, information from the Centers of Disease Control, GMA and Homeland Security, Department of Public Health, Office of the Governor, the White House. You get information from the Census Bureau. Some of the updates that we keep on there are the work that we do to try to summarize the different executive orders that the governor has put. It's helpful to have one point to go to. I think what we've all seen through the pandemic is you can find yourself going all over the internet to get information. GMA has worked hard to create this one-stop shop where it identifies most of the resources you'll need to deal with COVID. And also each Tuesday at 11 a.m., we have a weekly Cities Connect session that you're welcome to attend. If you go on the same site there on the COVID page, you'll see the information, and they'll give you the Ring Central link that you can go to in order to attend that each week. Get a lot of great speakers, health experts, economic development experts, a lot of folks that can tell you what some of the projections are, what the current status is with the virus. Right now, the big interest is in the vaccines, trying to get the vaccines rolled out. And you probably have heard that there are 4 mass locations in the state, and we want to make sure that they're well utilized as those vaccines get into arms, because we know that's what's going to take to get us out of the situation that we're in now. So anyway, I would just encourage you to participate in that and get the information each week, wealth of information for you. Also, if you look on the next tab across the top on that blue bar there, we have trending technologies. And this is sort of a changing area of our website, depending on what obviously is trending at the time. For right now, if you were to click on that, you would see information about workforce development. We do have a workforce development task force that has been working for the last few years, trying to help provide cities with tools to help keep the pipeline open for employees, because we know that we have a real need in local government to emphasize the importance of local government service, the value that it brings, and trying to bring people into the workforce. You'll see information on there about how to bring millennials in, how to try to bring veterans into local government, because you're dealing with people there that have served their country, and a lot of times they'll have the same desire to serve their local government. So a lot of great info there, a lot of resources for you. There's also a Start With Me program that we have out there that helps you when you go into recruiting for employees. But workforce development is about trying to recruit them, retain them, and try to make sure that we keep the best workforce available for our communities. Another item that we have under trending technologies, and these are just samples that I pulled out as we were looking at our website to present this to you today, but Blight and Redevelopment Toolkit. A lot of our communities have been hard hit with the virus. A lot of communities are trying to bring back their downtown to try to help small businesses, to try to redevelop where possible. So there's a great wealth of information there as well. If you were to try and advance to the next slide here. Here we go. Again, similar to the Workforce Development Toolkit, you'll see information here on some of the things you can do to try to, everything from code enforcement to creating places downtown that people want to be, their development earlier, they can help with that, and opportunity zones, the value of historic districts, just a lot of information there for you. So that's kind of what we have to offer. And at this point, I'm going to hand it off to Freddie Broom, and he's going to talk with you about equity and inclusion.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Freddie Broom, and I'm one of the member service consultants. I also serve as the Director of Equity and Inclusion at GMA. And I was going to talk briefly about some of the things that we're doing at GMA when it comes to equity and inclusion. So we all know that 2020 was a turbulent year across the globe and communities of all sizes and regions. In addition to the effects of the global pandemic we were all experiencing, people of color nationwide experienced racial injustice and police brutality, including here in our own state. These actions led to a wave of civil unrest and protests in opposition of systematic racism towards communities of color. In response to that, GMA in July 2020 sent an email out to all elected officials to serve as a baseline to measure for how city officials were coping, managing, and addressing issues of equity and inclusion in their communities in their capacities as elected officials. Based on the feedback received in the survey, it became clear that GMA could support the cities to address these issues. As a result of the information that came back from the surveys, GMA created its first Equity and Inclusion Commission. The role of the 26-member Equity and Inclusion Commission is to look at developing a long-term plan of actions to help our cities prepare themselves and deal with institutional systematic racism issues, and also to equip them to engage in conversations of dialogue as it pertains to equity and inclusion with the citizens in their residence. So we are embracing equity and inclusion, and we're celebrating differences. And as you can see, it's a symbol of the state of Georgia, and it's showing all of us coming together to put our thumbprint, our DNA on embracing equity and inclusion. So 26-member commission, which is chaired by LaGrange Mayor and GMA First Vice President Mayor Thornton, and by Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis. Okay, go back. Yeah. All right. So in August, we had a kickoff for the commission. We had our first meeting, and we actually had Ambassador Andrew Young deliver a keynote address to the group. It was a great, inspiring, motivational speech. You can find that video on our YouTube channel. You can also go to our webpage, and that video is there. And we can also share the link with you as well. So there are several areas that the commission is working on. And so some of these areas, as you see, when you go to our webpage, the equity inclusion is up under the trending topics, which Stan mentioned. And it pulls up and it shows you some of the areas, the work groups that they're working on. So one of them is impediments to equity and including housing, healthcare, education, public safety and criminal justice reform, training and education, community and economic development, workforce development and employment, city policies, stakeholder engagement, and diversity in leadership. And so those are topics that our E&I Commission is working on as they work to come up with a long-term strategic plan that cities can use as a guideline to help them with any type of diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives that they may have. So some of the things that we do is we provide training. So we have several types of trainings we provide. We have a basic training, which is called Another Seat at the Table. And this is really a basic training to really give you an introduction to what is diversity, equity, inclusion. Why is it important within your organization? Why is it important within your communities? Kind of give you an outline of how to communicate, when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion. So this is really some of the training that a lot of our cities are reaching out to us to provide to their entire staff. So it's the basic level. And then we have a more advanced level, which I would recommend taking after you was able to take the basic class, which is having different conversations. And this one is more designed to bring everyone together to really talk about some of the training topics that's currently going on in our society, to talk about systematic racism and social injustice and healthcare and disparities and all the other type of things that we're currently witnessing and experiencing within our communities, to have those conversations of how do you have those conversations. And we all know that to make change, we have to have conversations about change. And before we can have those conversations about change, we have to understand what are the issues we need to have the conversations about. So that's kind of what that course is about, of having the difficult conversations. Another training we provide is we partner with Kaufman's Institute of Government, and this is more designed to elected officials. We've offered it twice last year. Hopefully we'll offer it 2 or 3 times this year. And something else that we do is that we're trying to bring organizations and the communities together. So we're helping facilitate those conversations, facilitating those trainings, anything that we can do to bring the community, the organizations, the business community, bringing everyone together to create an all-inclusive environment. We're trying to be involved so we can provide that and support your efforts in trying to be more inclusive, involving the organizations, the communities, and the business communities. This is what's on. If you go to my webpage and you go to trending topics, we actually have established a toolkit. And the toolkit is an eco-inclusion resource. And not only does it have information in those 8 topics that I mentioned that the E&I Commission is working on, but it also has a lot of different information that is valuable. So if you're looking for anything when it comes to the lens of eco-inclusion, we're constantly updating it. We're putting all that information in our toolkit, so it's a very, very valuable resource for our cities to really have to use. So finally, we have another group which is called Georgia City Solutions, and Georgia City Solutions was created by GMA in 2018. And the purpose of Georgia City Solutions is to establish and support new and innovative programs, solutions, and research aimed at building vibrant, economical, prosperous, and well-managed cities, and to improve the quality of life of municipal residents in Georgia. Some of the 5 areas that it focuses on is youth advisor councils, workforce and business development, promoting careers in municipal government, tools to eradicate blunt and housing projects, and programs to assist with mental and behavioral health. So GMA, Georgia City Solutions, is a subsidiary of GMA. So we do have a short video that we're going to share with you by the director, Kay Love of Georgia City Solutions.
Hi, I'm Kay Love. I'm the Managing Director of Georgia City Solutions. Georgia City Solutions is a nonprofit subsidiary of the Georgia Municipal Association, and it was created to fund innovative programs to help build vibrant, economically prosperous, and well-managed cities. The way we plan to do that is focusing on 5 main areas, including youth leadership development, workforce and economic development, eradication of substandard housing and blight, mental and behavioral health issues, and research and innovation. And we believe that research and innovation is a critical support category to those other areas of focus. Many times when cities are trying to solve a problem, they don't know where to go find data, or if data even exists, or who may have it, how to get started solving the problem. So we believe with our ability to provide some research and data, it will help them hone in on solutions quicker to problems. Also, it will allow a database to begin to be formed so that others can draw upon that. The 538 cities in Georgia, many of them face the same problem. So we believe that some of the solutions that we'll be able to apply in communities are transferable and scalable, and we'll be able to leverage those across multiple communities. We know that in communities, municipal elected officials are called upon to provide solutions to problems that sometimes aren't even in their primary area of responsibility, yet people are looking to them. So we don't plan to duplicate any work in areas that are already being addressed. We just want to be conveners and collaborators to help address these really important topics. So stay tuned for more about Georgia City Solutions.
So once again, we want to thank you for participating in our GMA 101. We hope it was beneficial. We hope you learned some things from it. And once again, as we mentioned earlier in the PowerPoint, this is our member service consultant team. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, and we'll be gladly to help you out with anything we can help you out with. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Pam.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I hope everybody has learned something today, either a new resource or something about our website, or at least able to call on us if you have any questions. If you do have questions, if you need us to answer any questions for you, you can stay online and we'll be glad to help you right now if you'd like to ask some questions, or if you would rather call us later and talk one-on-one, but we'll be glad to help with any of the information that we can. So if we have any questions.
We had one question wanting to know if the training counted toward the clerk or local finance officer certification or the renewal of the certification.
It will count towards continuing education hours for the clerk certification.
And they also want to know if these classes were available online or just in person.
Well, right now they're only available online. We'll be able to have those classes regionally, at least for the human resources and the municipal revenue, that we can start back having those.
I have an additional question. How do you find out more information about committees?
On the website where it had how to get involved, there is you can sign up for participating in any of those, or just send us an email to you, to your district rep, and we'll be sure to have you on that committee.
And I will say too, those committees, when you pull it up, it gives you a link with a description. If you click on that committee link, that's where it's going to bring you to where you can sign up if you're interested in that committee.